Hello.
Hi.
Been 2 weeks.
We
are here. 2 weeks ago, I had a terrible migraine. With the holy ideas, I feel great today. How are you?
I also feel good. I just finished teaching class.
Yes.
We're talking about the holy
paths
today.
So this is actually going to be our last Enneagram discussion.
For a while.
For now. I will no doubt
There'll
come up
more.
Again, and there will be more.
There will definitely be
But
more.
today, the cool thing is with holy paths, we get to actually get into, hey, what with all this information and this Enneagram thing I heard about, and you just spent weeks listening us to talk about it, maybe.
Yeah.
And if not, you can go back and just go back on our feeds and watch weeks of us talking about things.
Yeah.
No, but it all coming to a head today with these holy paths.
Like, how do you actually transcend?
What can we actually do that's not manufactured? That's not fake and contrived and ego, right? How can we really know that what we're doing isn't contrived? And it blends into last week's holy idea, which is this concept of what can be really gained from doing inner work for that particular fixation. So when I put up some graphics today, I'm gonna have the holy idea and the path, since it's been 2 weeks, and just might as well put them up together. I'm gonna talk about it through the lens of the holy path today.
Okay, great.
Anything else?
Hit it.
So actually, I want to share screen first of whenever I'm researching this stuff and just look through images, and there's all sorts of different images, and people actually use different names with, hope you can see that. Yeah, I'll leave it big for you. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot here. It's a little jumbled. I don't expect you to sit here and read this right now, especially if you're watching on a phone. But I thought, thinking about it as vice to virtue. So what is the holy path is something to do, some concept for us to embrace, something us to act on in the moment of life when we're triggered and something gets to us and we feel anger or fear or anxiety or judgment or some shame seeping into a situation. And we can either go into the ego reaction, which is to kind of like protect our point of view.
Go on autopilot, essentially. We could go on autopilot and do what we always do and react the same way without questioning it. Or really, the key is to be present and to notice.
Yeah.
And then to choose the path, this path.
So the holy path is what a conscious choice you can make in a moment of stress that's going to help you grow. You can't wake up in the morning and be like, today I'm going to go do my holy path. Nope. It's either going to come up or it's not. But when it does come up, are you ready? So just go ahead.
Can I challenge that one thing that you just said? I think you could set the intention that you could be aware of the moments when your holy path is available to you. But yeah, you can't
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's literally what I said.
No, it isn't. You said you can't wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to go do this. But you actually can.
No, you can't.
Do that. You just can't know when it's going to happen or if it will.
You can't manufacture it, is the point.
You can be prepared for it.
Absolutely, you should be prepared for it. That's why we're discussing it here. That's why we're planting seeds in people's heads. That's why we're doing this thing to reinforce this so people are ready for the moments when their path shows up. So
we'll start with 9.
We'll start with 9. Love is the holy idea that we would have went over 2 weeks ago. And then the
path.
The path is there on the right.
Right action.
Again, I'm using this book as my primary reference for holy ideas and holy paths. From fixation to freedom.
Put that in the comments for anybody who wants it.
I will. So do you want to talk about right action real quick?
No, okay. I think you can.
Yeah. So
I'll just argue with you in a minute about it.
So right action, the 9 is selling out to other people, trying to blend in, chill, not cause any disturbance.
Don't want to ruffle feathers.
Don't want to ruffle feathers. The 9's really trying to avoid an experience of conflict and resulting anger. So right action is merely being like, hey, in this moment, what is it I really want here? What is it I really need here? And right action doesn't mean you're going to get what you want or need, but you're at least going to advocate for your wants and needs and not sell out in the name of avoiding anger?
I would say right action could also be self-advocacy, right?
Absolutely.
And maybe in some instances, as the person grows, it's not just self-advocacy, but it's advocacy for others as well. But from a truly,
it's whatever the right action in the moment is.
Exactly.
That's it. I would say that for type 9s, and this path is, so I'm always preaching for people to have introspective practices and self-study. It supports this. So you know what principles matter to you as a person. What am I grounded in? So when any situation comes up, I know, that I know what I stand for. I don't have to care about blending in so much.
Right.
That's one thing. So, Zara's had to join in on the I'm watching train too. Hello.
Awesome.
So,
hi, Carol and Zaris.
Let's keep going. 8. So the outward expression of anger or body fixations, anger fixations, right? So the path is innocence.
Yeah, the whole idea is truth.
So you want to take this one, or you want to take any of them, or
no?
What? You have any in mind you want?
No, I don't. This is your thing.
That's
I'm
right.
Just the host.
This is the last week we're doing Enenagram.
I'm just the host.
The next thing we do is what she wants, which is what?
I don't know.
Okay, so surprise. Something next week where she's in the lead, starting next week.
Cards, or we'll do codependent relationships.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Oh wow, that's a big tarot cards or codependent relationships. Okay. Tune in. It'll be quite the surprise. So innocence. Okay. So innocence is I'm just summing these up real quick. I encourage everyone to go out.
I mean, I think I know what the path of innocence is, but I want you to explain it.
Because 8s think they're right about everything and use being right and their own truth as weapons to beat people over the head with, and they just put off so much kind of intense energy, so people don't even want to get in the debate with them, right?
No, I don't.
So innocence has to do with inner child work. A type 8 really benefits from inner child. We all do, but 8s, I think, I always think about inner child work with them because they can go back to a time when they were innocent and didn't feel like that. Have so much armor up around their emotions in their life. I've
noticed that type 8s almost feel disassociated completely from the fact that they were ever a child.
Seems that way sometimes.
So maybe the innocence piece of it is really just remembering that they were a child and remembering that part of who they are. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, remembering it so that they can see that they were safe. And if they learn to be vulnerable to people and take feedback in, they can realize they're not getting attacked. That it's okay. No.
Or they're not going to disappear.
You're not going to disappear. You're not going to change. They're just intimacy it's just love. They just really blocked a lot of love in by putting up emotional shields. Oh my God.
Here comes the cat.
Wow. He came all the way up here.
He jumped up. Hi, everybody. Kisso wants to be part of the show.
That's a first, I think, up here.
Kisso is walking the path, I think, of equanimity.
He is. We'll get to that. He's definitely a type 4.
He's listening
okay.
to birds.
So 7. Oh, did I forget to type in 7? I may have forgot to type in. Oh, no, we're not on 7. We're on 1.
We're on 1.
Duh. 1. Right. Inward focus.
Perfect. This one's for Carol.
So serenity. Right? The good old cheesy serenity prayer always works here. I need to talk about it another way to give more depth and perspective on type 1. But
I mean, I think of it as just acceptance.
I'm going to put this back up on the screen too. Because
absolute acceptance, deep acceptance, the ultimate form of acceptance, which would be accepting everything as it is.
Yeah.
In its perfection.
Yeah. So, we talk about everything is perfect, everything is unraveling perfectly in the universe. Everything is as it should be. And there is no such thing as perfectionism. So if a type 1 can see that, they're like, oh, all right, I can control what I can control. I can't control the things I can't control. And I'm actually learned to be cool with that. This one I like because it describes it. I don't know if you can read it again, but it says the path is to go from anger to serenity, right? So serenity being the path. And what you're left with is excellence and growth. So a perfectionist can I have this in my tri-type, right?
So do I.
So it's to learn, like, no, excellence and growth in and of itself is the best you can do, and that's great. And if you are committed to excellence and growth, you're doing great, and things are really unfolding the way they should.
Yeah, I was totally thinking the same thing, Carol. The pandemic teaches all of us. I mean, as they say, this is unprecedented, right? But the world has problems all the time, and has always had problems and always will, or the way we see them as problems, right? We call them problems. But ultimately, everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, and everything is perfect, and everything unfolds, as you said, in perfect order.
Yep.
Surrender.
Yeah. And look, I mean, when we talk about doing inner work and self-study, these are people of these types. These are the kind of things they come to. Yeah. Right? So any inner child work, breath work, even work with plant medicines and psychedelic stuff. And, you're going to, if you know you're type 1, that's the kind of thing you're going to fixate on even in your path of growth, which I think is interesting.
I think type 1s benefit from EFT, which is about loving and accepting oneself. Yeah. Which is really the big thing with type 1s. That's what's under the surface of seeing all the problems out there, is how hard they are on themselves and all the rules that they hold themselves to. So once we see ourselves, I think, as perfect, and we can accept ourselves, then we can also relax more into what is. Yeah. Go ahead.
3. So compassion as a whole idea, first of all, is, of all the whole ideas, 3 is the one that I see explained the most different ways. And I have to see compassion up associated with 8, which actually in that chart I brought up, it was. But so the whole idea really is like, right, the 3 wants to manufacture success, like just success in and of itself. Wants to look
the best,
look successful, be the best, and sells out in the name of love. It sells out to do what someone else thinks it should do.
Yeah, it's going to follow the script.
So it says, I'm going to chase success instead of chasing what I really want authentically. We all, not type 3s are not the only people that do this, but that's where the fixation lives. And it can be,
well, yeah.
So the work on that type of fixation is just straight up veracity.
Truth.
Which is intense honesty with self. Type 3s and people with this kind of fixation, as I just described it, have to look at themselves and go, wow, I may have whored myself out. And I mean that language intentionally. I mean, really.
Maybe not literally, but
not literally. No, I mean, not literally sexually, but I've sold myself out in some way. And wow, I just haven't followed my bliss. That's humbling.
Yeah, I mean, I had a type 3 today, one of my clients who was sharing with me that she was feeling like she didn't have what she wanted in her relationship, and her partner wasn't being how she wanted them to be. And then we talked a little bit longer, and then she realized that she was the one who wasn't happy, and she wasn't being how she wanted to be, and that a lot of the things that she thought were wrong with the other person, the partner, were none of it was wrong necessarily, but it was a lot of projecting. It was a lot of, and then we ended up coming around to being super honest with ourselves about, well, what's really going on. So yeah, it was really the truth that opened it up, I would say.
Type 3s, because they want success, when they realize that authenticity is the path to success, they'll get authentic.
That's what I do. So I can get an A. I find
they'll can fall into the trap of fake authenticity still, but when they really get like, oh, the power and fame and image coolness I want lies in me being authentic to myself, then
I'm going to be the best.
Clearly do that. Yeah.
Okay. I want to be successful at being authentic.
Oh my God. No, that's not the point. Jesus.
It's a joke.
Okay. Humility I've just brought up. And since 2 is a wing of 3, that's actually 2's path is humility. Now you're a type 2, so do you want to talk about this?
Sure. Humility means feeling embarrassed. doesn't, but that's how it works. I think.
Yeah, it does.
My experience of the path of humility is that
Shaking
it's
it.
extremely spontaneous, because as much as the type 2 does it, we do our best, I think, to mitigate embarrassing moments. Like that's why we're not vulnerable. We don't want to feel embarrassed. They still happen, especially when you're actually on the path and you're doing the work and you see yourself, or when I'm seeing myself. Shame hits me so hard. Like when someone points out some feedback to me, when there's something and it blindsides me, it's just like, like I just want to go and hide. I just feel so terrible. And that is, and what I've learned is, instead of trying to repress or push away or distract myself from that horrible feeling of shame, the more I lean into it, and the more I just, I feel really embarrassed right now. This is really terrible. I kind of have to like barf, word vomit my way through it. Standing in the fire, the purification, the discomfort, it burns away the pride. We feel pride. It burns away the pride. And then we can be like, oh, I'm a person too, just like everyone else. So I can drop my like superior attitude and my snobbiness, my arrogance, and I can relate with people. And then, yeah, we do experience freedom then, because we realize that the pain and the shame, no one cares. No one actually is looking at us and judging us the way we are looking at ourselves and holding ourselves to this high standard. So there's freedom.
Well, and the freedom is freedom from also
Obsessively helping people and blah, blah, blah.
The obsession, yeah. Because they feel like they have to obsessively care about other people's needs and do things for them. And secretly, they're feeding off the pride of that energy. It is like dark side stuff, kind of all this is. But pride is particularly gnarly as an emotion, because it's like, it feels so good compared to anger and shame and grief.
It's way
and
above.
Despair.
Energetically, it's above.
And energetically, it's higher. So it's like, ooh, but it's still
in the force.
It always occurs.
Power. It's not power. It's force.
It feels like a slow killer to me when I see people that are too prideful. Yeah, just it's not immediate.
Well,
not destroying them, and pride. People can get through life in this country anyway on pride alone.
I will I'll refrain from saying anything political, but I think we have like both political parties are pretty much running.
Oh yeah, of course.
Pretty much running entirely on pride. So
if even some of them are running on fear, even so. Anyway, yeah, let's not get into that. Screw all of them. Type 4s.
It's all you, buddy.
So the idea was origin. 4s are romantic. They feel this specialness, and they create this push-pull dynamic to create a kind of roller coaster of emotions in life, because that feels alive to them. So being still on the path of equanimity and just present with things as they are in the moment, that actually feels uncomfortable to type 4s.
It's boring.
It's boring, yeah. And in one way, it's just quite literally boring, and yeah, it feels dead.
It feels like dead.
It's
yeah,
like,
it feels like they're dying because there's nothing exciting.
But waits for them on the other side of that path, and the path is from envy to equanimity. By the way, the equanimity is taking them out of envy and into union with God, which is that chart. The way I just had up showed. I like the way they described that one. So,
well, equanimity is no attachment and no aversion. So not clinging to anything and not pushing anything away, which is really what that roller coaster of emotions is doing. It's holding on tightly to joy, or it's dwelling in pain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they feel like things should be given to them and that they're special. So there's envy when they see other people that have things that they think they deserve. And I get that. I've struggled with envy for sure. Absolutely.
Me too.
And yeah.
That seems good.
Oh, go. I don't talk about my envy anymore. So here I am, type 6. To me, this is like the most basic of the holy paths and like the simplest to understand. And it's so just hero journey-ish. The whole idea is trust. I got to learn to trust myself. And the only way I learn to trust myself is to have courage in the face of anxiety. The things that scare me, the leaps of faith that I need to take, the steps into unknown territory, just got to go do it.
I mean, I feel like this is every meme that is on the internet all the time about moving through your fear or being courageous or whatever. And it's a huge breakthrough for like Western culture, Americans, people in the United States, don't you think?
To be courageous?
Yes.
Why in
To
particular
trust
the United
themselves.
States, though? Because there's just so much fear here right now? I agree. I
think that there are a lot of people in the West who are type 6s, and I think that
not the whole West. I don't think it's all the West. America, I would say
yes,
America. The United States of America.
That's what I originally said, yes.
Oh, all right. Okay.
There's a lot of parent issues. There's a lot of people with mommy and daddy issues here, looking for some sort of outside external source of trust, of safety, of all that good stuff, right?
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes. Type 6s don't trust themselves. So they're always outside themselves looking for something they can trust around them. Often misplace their trust if they're at lower levels of development or really struggling with depression and anxiety. Often misplaced trust. And to your point, we'll go overly trust institutions and other authorities. And like in this, it feels like in this country, the institutions
church,
church,
military, state.
Institutions are getting pummeled a little right now, are not doing the best. So it's a little freaky. People need to learn to believe in themselves right now and trust themselves. Seriously. So I agree with that. Type 7 is sobriety. And I put wisdom in quotations because usually with the whole idea, usually I teach the type 7 whole idea as holy work. And the idea of the 7 is keeping itself active, looking for good things to do around it. And just keep its mind so busy that it can't stress. So the mind gets a lot of work. It just gets a lot of work, like processing work. So if a type 7 can learn to be calm, and by sobriety, I don't mean just literally from alcohol and drugs, although if that's the issue to start with, for sure. It means from like any addiction, sort of. And be clear of mind, like really, like purity of body really can really suit a type 7, I think. Because then comes the work that is truly aligned with what they want. So work that they're really committed to. And that commitment brings out the good and the bad. And type 7s, their lesson is to be with the bad as well as with the good.
Yeah, the sobering truth.
Yes. And that joy, as they really do allow themselves to be sober through low times, not numb out through low times.
And not quit.
Not
run away.
And they stick with things and they go, this is much better this way. I can really lean into my work and be committed to my work from a place of love and wisdom.
And then they actually
they really are smart. They really are smart and active minds that when they're applied, they really get what they want and they can really help people.
Yes,
absolutely.
The key is don't quit, though.
No. And so we're wrapping up here with 5, a little early. So
seems fine.
That seems fine. It's been a lot of Enneagram lessons, but this is the way I learn things, right? I'll read all these books about the Enneagram and then just try to present it all as concisely as possible. So I appreciate that. I know people out there have liked this and given some positive feedback. So
perfect.
I very much appreciate that.
Explained your type 5 fixation to everybody.
Which is what? Omniscience?
Reading everything and wanting to give a speech about it afterward.
Yeah. So I am a type 6, but the 5 energy is heavy in me. It really is. I've been reading more. I'm like, man, I have so much 5 stuff in my life. Yes, the omniscience is the idea that I can wrap my head around everything and get all the information. And the path in this case is from avarice to non-attachment. Avarice, yes, being greed or intense greed.
Our neighbors are
having a good time over there. but like overly attached to the things I do have. So really just like, what? Did I just like blow your mind about me or something?
I just had some thoughts about some stuff.
Like what?
You do hold on to, you love like sentimental items is like a thing for you.
Yeah. Because I think I limit myself. I think the type 5 limits itself. And it's like, oh, the few sentimental, emotional things I have, like that's what I have. Because they can be so withdrawn. And it's like, dude, there's an abundance of love and things in the world. So don't be attached to anything because there's an abundance of it.
So avarice is really more like, it's like scarcity.
I think there's a scarcity. Oh, yeah. It's someone, the book I was reading.
I don't have enough information.
Getty, right? Was it Paul J. Getty? Was that his name? Getty, the famous Getty. J. Paul Getty. All right. Anyway, Getty, the famous guy with the museum guy up here north of us. He was a known kook, and avarice was his thing. Like rich as hell, but he would like nickel and dime his old family, would come over for lunch and he would charge them like $20 a head. I was just reading about this like today even.
Oh my God.
And
obviously a collector of knowledge.
He like for the last 28 days of his life or something like last days of his life, he never went to bed. And people were like, why don't you go to bed? He's like, oh, because you're going to come kill me in my sleep. And so he's just clinging on. There's this weird clinging, even with a rich person. And he died in his chair, apparently. He just, the final days of his life, like, I'm not going to bed. I'm just dies in his chair, which seems...
He didn't want to let go. He wasn't letting go. He was clinging.
He was attached to his own life. Poor thing. Wow. I mean, that is... I was reading this earlier. It kind of blew my mind a little bit.
That makes me sad.
I was like, that, yeah.
It makes me sad when people are all the way to their death and they can't let go.
I mean, that was my experience with Gore Vidal.
He was probably type 4 or 5.
He was down there in 4 and 5 for sure. Absolutely. He's a 4-wing 5 or a 5-wing 4.
Totally.
I can see that for sure.
Totally.
Just look, 4s and 5s are really smart, really emotionally intelligent, because
super tuned into the spiritual
energy.
Energy.
Yeah, they really see the spiritual energy. Like,
yeah,
I do read a lot.
I think my dad's a type 5.
Maybe my ego drove me to read a lot.
I think
but
my dad's a type 5, and he's the same.
Still reading a lot,
I love
right?
Studying.
Yeah, like loving studying. There, you can take anything too far, right? Like you can take studying too far. I think I have.
You're on the other side of it, babe.
I am on the other side of it.
And we all get to benefit from it, though.
So I'll just go ahead and promote myself real quick. Here's my email address. Thank you, babe. I'm doing
the course is starting on Sunday.
This Journaling to Destiny course. Starting on Sunday. If you're interested, you can email me. You can go to intuitiveintegrity.com/destiny. I guess I should type that out on the screen. Or just contact me.
We can put it in the comments.
We can put it in the comments. I have a whatever sales page here, working on my website lately. Been getting better at this kind of side of things of business. But I'm great at teaching journaling.
He's amazing at it. He always blows my mind.
So I'm ready, and I am dialed in to teach a 4-week course starting Sunday. And when I'm dialed in, it's pretty fun.
He was working with one of our clients yesterday.
And
he said something to her, and on the phone she was like, "What?" So if you want to get your mind blown, talk to him.
Look, I do think we in spiritual work get it. I have been over addicted to just the mind-blowing experience itself, but the fun is integrating it. It's easy to get a mind blown. It's a quick fix. I really like to stick with it and integrate it in properly. And I think journaling is
one of the very important practices. I agree.
A truly human practice.
I'm a big fan of writing and journaling.
Okay.
We're just about at the 30-minute mark. Closing out Enneagram, I would say Fabian is still doing assessments for anybody who wants to know their type. If you want an assessment with him, we can put a scheduling link in the comments as well. And then if you have more Enneagram questions and you want us to do episodes, definitely send us your questions or send us your ideas and your topics and things you want to know. We'll pick back up with Enneagram probably in a couple months. So if you want to send us stuff, do it. And we'll put it on the show.
Yeah, the popularity is pretty insane.
It's getting more popular, Enneagram.
It is. It really is. I think it just provides such a quick way to get into investigating oneself and get someone enrolled and actually being like, oh man, if I put myself under a microscope, under a lens, and look at my behaviors and what things are impulses in me that are kind of behavioral addictions. If you're willing to do work on that, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the big differentiator between people, I think, who are really, I don't know, have the things they want, happy, growing, eliminating anxiety from their life. Anyway.
Right. 10 Habits of Successful People. I'm pretty sure journaling is one of those.
So is it?
I think so.
Yeah. So next week.
I made that up.
Jesus Christ. My business has the word integrity in the title. Stop making shit up.
That's why I make things up. Can I just say I made it up?
So next week.
Invented.
Next week, Cassandra's going to take the lead on Capricorny couple for a bit. It's going to be either tarot cards or codependent relationships.
Healing from them, not continuing to have them.
Oh, right.
Okay, love you all.
Love you all. Tarot cards.
Don't repeat it.